the very first thing I see is I see Sean Clark in the lobby, and he's waiting on James Courtney to get there. And I'm checking in. James walks in. He's in a big. He looked like the black trench guy coat in Halloween 4 and 5 is what he looked like.
The man in black, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he looked like. Live on my end.
I think it's I'm seeing countdown. I'm seeing a count. So I think we've started.
We've started. Here we go. This is the long-awaited
episode 1.
Yeah, long-awaited episode. I was going to say podcast in general, but yeah,
right.
Long-awaited episode 1.
We've been plugging this thing for a month now.
Yeah.
Now finally getting it going.
Yeah. If there are any listeners listening, I guess I am one of the hosts here. Billy from Toys from the Crypt, aka just Toy Crypt. That's short and simple.
Short and simple, yep. And then I'm Shane from the Rotten Report. People might be familiar with.
Shane, there's a lot of people familiar with the Rotten Report. I see a lot of activity over there on your end.
Sometimes depends on what I post about.
Nah, man, you're always like, ask me some questions, and then I'll be at work, and 3 hours will go by, and you're already posting 7 or 8 responses.
It depends on how I word the question, because sometimes I'll be like, "Hey, Q&A Sunday topic," or this, that, other.
Yeah. Well.
But anywho, yeah, this is the Mid-Nite Spookshow podcast. Brand new, episode 1.
This is. We don't know how long this is going to go on for. Basically, this is just a podcast that's. I don't want to say mainly, because really it's about everything that we like, not just nostalgically, but
we didn't want it to be a specific podcast, because there's so many different horror podcasts or this, that, and the other podcast.
Yeah,
we wanted to have a good variety.
Yeah, I mean mainly I'm watching horror movies. I'm watching sci-fi stuff. I'm watching superhero stuff, I guess, but that's just limited to just Batman stuff.
Yeah, DC. Yeah, I mean, I've been specifically, doing horror stuff, but then I'll mix it up every once in a while, and I'll try to catch up on some Marvel stuff or Star Wars, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, I've been really kind of dried out with horror lately.
Yeah, it's just because I feel like you go to these we just had Horrorhound, and you kind of need a break from it almost.
Yeah, well, that's a great transition, Shano. Speaking of Horrorhound, let's recap that real quick.
It won't be real quick. I mean, it's that's a whole topic.
Yeah. Well, let's just talk about it then. This Horrorhound was my 11th actual anniversary Horrorhound in Sharonville.
Nice, man. This was this would have been my 10th year anniversary. If we're doing anniversaries, this was a pretty big deal.
So this was your 10, yeah? Okay.
Been going since March of 2014.
Yeah, my 10 was last year. What'd you think about the show overall?
I thought it was really considering the convention center just had it's all of its renovations completed. I mean, it was an impressive show. I mean it was packed. Like it was probably the busiest show I've seen since I've been going. Honestly,
Yeah. Um, I don't, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's just like some type of like weird nostalgic thing for me, but like I swear, at that 2013 show when they had the Walking Dead cast there, and like I remember the line was wrapped around the building, through the line queue, over registration, around the parking lot, through that back alley area between the live-in, onto the sidewalk, and then
yeesh.
just kept going down. And I remember standing in line and like John Carpenter just drives by, and I'm like, holy shit, that's John Carpenter.
Yeah, I think I remember this story.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good show. It sucks Jane Levy canceled.
Yeah,
That was my main grab.
she was one
However,
of my top. She was my like top three, but it was kind of
yeah.
it was a bummer, but it was also kind of a relief in a way.
Yeah, and people get really upset at Horrorhound, and they don't make that call. Like, why would they want to make that? Like, why would they want to cancel? I guess that just hurts them.
Yeah, that's
People have to understand the card is subject to change. It's just like pro wrestling, like, or any live event. It's basketball. If LeBron throws his arm out, like he's not going to play the next game. Even if you bought tickets to the next game to see LeBron play, he's just not going to play.
right. I mean, there's even a disclaimer on the website that says all guests are subject to change.
Yep.
That's just how it goes. Life happens,
People get really upset, though.
Dude, they really do. Like the comments, and I'm like, dude, you realize they have no control over this, right?
Yeah.
It's just, it baffles me because I'm like, I'll sit there and I'll be talking to Nathan and be like, do these people not realize that like it's not up to you? Like it just, I don't understand it. I've gotten upset. There's been times where a guest is canceled and it's like, oh man, like that does suck. But it's also like there's a bunch of other people there to meet,
Well, see, and that's the thing. Like, because I guess she canceled. As far as who I did end up meeting, transition. We just transitioned.
Oh, we did that. We did that transition thing again.
Yeah. I met
Jeffrey Combs.
I met old Jeffrey Combs here. Dr. Herbert West. I got it in the green paint pen, brother. It looks great.
I had to, because I mean that's the color hue.
Yeah, and like this wasn't even mine. I bought this at the show. A vendor had it for less than retail, like a Target would have. So
there you go.
I janked it, and he was $40.
That's not. I mean, he's not bad at all.
No. So.
And he was the only one you got, wasn't he?
He was the only one I got. I was going to meet Lloyd Kaufman, but he flew out very early Sunday. And I didn't get my Toxic Avenger pop signed, and I was very excited about getting that signed.
Hopefully none of that stuff falls over. But yeah, I got Mr. Lloyd. I don't know if you can see.
I can see.
I think it's right in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a pretty solid line. That was Saturday, and I stood in line for probably a good half hour, 45 minutes for him. And it's totally worth it though, because I mean, like he makes it worthwhile. I mean, he doesn't charge.
Sure.
He doesn't charge for autographs, pictures, blah blah blah.
Well, and he did have an event the night before.
Right. They did a showing
Friday night, I think,
of this movie actually.
Yep, there it is.
Meeting Miss Campbell, and the direct is kind of cool because obviously Lloyd didn't direct it. He's a producer. I mean, he obviously runs Trouble.
Sure.
And but the director of the movie, Liam Regan, he flew all the way in from England for that showing. He was
Interesting.
I met him because I bought the copy of the movie. He was there at the Troma booth, and I was just kind of shooting the shit with him.
Did they just have DVDs or did they have Blu-rays?
For Eating Miss Campbell,
Yeah.
it was I think they just had Blu-rays. They might have had a DVD too. I'm not 100% though.
Does it have that slipcase, brother?
Oh yeah, it's cool because like it's got the slip
Oh, it's
case.
got a slip. It does have a slip.
Yeah, it's a slip. See,
Yeah.
that's signed by Lloyd up there, and then Liam down there, and then this was the. I thought the coloring's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a chance to watch this yet. I haven't actually watched any of the movie. I have a couple pickups here from Horrorhound that I haven't even gotten a chance to watch yet.
So you've not seen Eating Miss Campbell?
I started it. I got about maybe 10 minutes into it, and
What's it about?
so it's about this girl who she's basically an 18, like she's basically like a senior in high school, like a high schooler, and she's vegan but somehow becomes like a cannibal. Something
Vegan,
like
but
that.
somehow becomes a cannibal.
Yeah. So here's me.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah. So meet Beth Connor, an 18-year-old angst-filled goth vegan who's attempted every form of suicide imaginable.
It's like every teenager on TikTok, right?
But yeah, but instead of doing, but instead of dying, she wakes up in a low-budget horror movie. that's
Oh,
the,
okay.
so yeah, she ends up I don't know somehow becoming she becomes a cannibal at some point, and she eats Miss Campbell apparently.
Okay.
But from my understanding, it has that that trauma vibe that you would
Yeah.
want from a trauma movie.
I completely forgot. Did you end up meeting Sam?
Raimi, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you did. Do you want to tell us about that? Tell us about it.
So Saturday, yeah, that was my first thing I did Saturday morning. Like, I got in. Obviously, early access is at 10, so I'm hustling to the
I was still in my room, as I always am.
yeah. I was up and at 'em. I got up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was out. I got there about 45 minutes before doors for early, and I had a pretty good spot in line. Like I wasn't like too far up, but I was I'm not too far back. But anyway, so Sam Raimi, his line, and this is weird because they had this for a couple of the guests, like Eli Roth, which I also met. They had it to where you were paying for the autograph before you actually got into the line to meet them. So
Okay.
yeah, it was. It made sense. It helped it move along a little bit easier, I guess. But it was kind of weird because there was a line basically to pay for the autograph, and then you actually had to get into the line to, you know. So that was like 2 hours right there alone, like waiting in line, like the first hour.
About what number was you in line, you think? How many people's ahead of you?
Man, I don't even know. Like, it's hard to put a number on, I can't guesstimate that well when it comes to like just a big group of people like that. Let's just say I was pretty far back in the turnstile.
Okay.
Like the turnstile was full.
Okay.
So I was at least 50, like 50 to 75, something like that, maybe.
That's
a ballpark number.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
But yeah, I ended up getting my Book of the Dead edition. Let's see if I can get that up there.
I will say, I'm not too big on the signed DVD collection type thing. However, I've always wanted that version of that, and I've just never found it. Man, so that's a great item to get signed by Sam.
So I was initially going to get one of the poster that came with like the Ultimate Edition signed, but I was like, man, How about I take the Book of the Dead edition, get it signed? That's just, I feel like that's a cooler something. He's gonna see that, obviously. I mean, I'm sure he's seen a billion of them, but it's just, I feel like that's a cooler item to sign than just a poster. Of course,
Sure.
I'm sure he doesn't care regardless. But yeah, he was super. He was super friendly. Like really, interacted with you. It wasn't like trying to hurry you along. He was like wanted to hear
Man,
from you.
I seen him coming off the elevator, so he was literally like 5 feet away from me coming off the elevator. He looked so tired. He looked so tired.
I think he just I think he always looks like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Have you seen like pictures of him? He always has he's an older guy now, obviously, so he's kind of got like the whole bags under his eyes, and I think that's just his natural look. He just kind of looks like he's tired, and I think that's how Ted looks too.
It's funny. Saturday morning for breakfast, we was sitting right behind Jeffrey Combs. Why am I blanking? Oh, Jeffrey Combs, Ivan Raimi, Ted Raimi. And Charles Band's brother, Richard Band.
Oh, Richard was there. Nice, yeah.
Yeah, and they were all just talking about like just like stories about being on sets. But
that would just be cool enough to you're right behind us.
Yeah, there was this one guy that came down and he was doing the typical, "Oh shoot, you're the one guy from that one movie." He was talking to he was talking to Jeffrey Combs, and I was like, "Oh gosh, like we're just all trying to eat breakfast here."
Dude, similar story. Like one of the first Horrorhounds I ever went to. I think it was the first time I went to the indie one. We were. I was sitting with my buddy Mike, who I'd made friends with. He's one of the guys that sits with the guests. He's kind of like the handler.
Okay.
And not an agent, but he's like a helper, basically. And I was sitting there with him, and I mean, I got Quentin Lord from Trick or Treat like diagonal from me. I got John Bernthal and Scott Wilson basically right across the way from me, and we got this douche nozzle coming up just taking pictures, and like the guy who's the actual agent, like he's getting pissed off, like saying like come back tomorrow and actually pay for the actual picture, like get the fuck out of here,
man.
People get weird when it comes to like meeting people. Like I try to, like especially when it's somebody I really like. I'm like, holy shit! Like when I met Lars, for instance, like I try to keep my cool because like I'm such a big fan of his.
Well, it's funny. It's funny. I felt like staying. So we was lucky, and I got a room at the Hyatt that was attached to the Sharonville Convention Center.
Now this is where all the guests stay at now, right? They used to stay at the Marriott across the street, but now they have
it is both depending on availability.
Right, because
I think yeah. Like get there first, the very first thing I see is Sean Clark in the lobby, and he's waiting on James Courtney to get there. And I'm checking in. James walks in. He's in a big. He looked like the black trench guy going on in Halloween 4 and 5 is what he looked like.
The Man in Black, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he looked like. And of course,
do you have a hat on and everything?
Yeah, he had a fedora on and black sunglasses and a black trench coat.
Look at this guy. He's gonna murder some people today.
Yeah, but get on the elevator and James is right diagonal from our room. Eli Roth was also staying on our floor. He was on the other side of the hall from us.
That's rad.
There was one more up there, I think.
I feel like you told me, but I can't remember that.
Yeah.
It's left me.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, like I was gonna say, like we found ourselves in the elevator with James Courtney going up, and like me and me and my wife obviously knew who it was.
Right.
But like, it would have been a perfect opportunity for me to act weird or go like out of like convention etiquette and be like, "Oh, can I get a picture? Or can you get this? Can you, whatever."
But I know
So
how you are, though.
yeah, so like I kind of just stood there, was just acting normal, and he got off the elevator and he was like, "Hey, you guys enjoy the show?" And I was like, "You too, Mr. Courtney." So
Yeah, he just seems like a really cool dude. I met him a while back, and
yeah, he is.
he's a
God,
he's kind of like meeting Nick Castle in a way.
yeah,
Just
I,
super
I do.
friendly.
I do need to meet Nick again. But
Yeah, I need to get him on something else because I've got him up. You can't see him, but I got an old NECA figure up here, and it's signed by good old Nick. But it's also signed by he who must not be named, Mr. Tony.
I remember when you got that. Oh
Yeah,
my.
that's a whole topic for a whole nother episode. We won't go there today.
Who
But
should
we all know who I'm talking about.
who should we refer to him as?
I know
The Myers that shall not be named?
the Myers that thought he was tough shit. The guy who thinks he's Michael Myers, but really only played him for 2 seconds.
Well, people already know now, so we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, you guys know. Let's just say I have a very strong opinion on this certain individual.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has many nice things to say about him, unfortunately. Maybe back in the day, back before he became, crazy, but we won't go over that today. We'll
So, besides Sam and Lloyd,
Sam Lloyd,
and Lars.
Lars Fredrickson from Rancid.
Yeah.
Eli Roth, Friday.
Oh, see, dude, you got both Sam and Eli out the way.
Yeah, that was that was my big goals for because Friday, because I knew Sam wasn't going to be there until Saturday. So I'm like, Friday, I'm like, I got to be Eli. And I was kind of on the fence back and forth, like, do I really want to meet Eli? Like, and then I'm like, crap, I really do like Eli. Like, I like his stuff. Like, Thanksgiving was awesome. The Hostel 1 and 2, Cabin Fever, even his kids movie, that House with the Clock in its Walls, Jack Black, that was really fun.
Oh yeah. It's funny. I was on the elevator with Eli Roth as well, going down to the lobby, and I had this exact shirt on actually.
Oh, nice, definitely.
And he was probably thinking the whole time, "Oh, great, this guy obviously knows who I am." Because I don't know if you ever seen Death Proof or
I know the Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Trailer,
yeah,
faux trailer, yeah.
Yeah, so like Eli Roth had a feature in that, Rob Zombie had a feature in that. I'd still love to see that Werewolf Women of the SS get made, but
right.
It's not gonna get made, brother.
Nah, I don't even who knows what his next movie's even gonna be.
I will say I'm excited for it, and I will say I don't want to go off on a Rob Zombie tangent because I probably can for 2 hours.
Well, probably more, but we know.
Yeah.
Billy's a big Rob Zombie fan.
Yeah, like just so everybody knows.
I am too, though.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, we love Rob on this show. We love Rob's Halloweens on this show.
Yeah, if you don't like that, you can just click end right now.
Exactly. You can make like a tree and frick off.
Because we may not, I may not adore, Halloween 2 per se, but when it first came out, it was, it was a pretty big deal for me because I was just now starting to get really into horror movies. So it's just like,
me too, dude. See, and like for me, your Halloween 2 was my Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. So when 2 came out, I was pumped and ready to go. Like I didn't leave that theater going, this movie sucked. I was like, I don't understand why he said die, but that's all okay. But like, just like in general, like the whole look of him in that dream sequence part of that movie is my favorite overall look of Michael Myers ever. I think he looks the scariest. I think he looks the most Frankensteinish, the way he's just lingering through those hallway hospitals.
Right.
Those hospital hallway halls. However you want to word it.
Right. Yeah, it's just like, well, I watched, Halloween. I actually watched, back when we had satellite television, every once in a while we'd get like the movie channels for like a weekend or something like that. And Halloween was on one time. And I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a try and check it out. And it was the theatrical version, which, is slightly different than the unrated version, which I actually almost prefer to the unrated version.
I think I prefer it as well, yeah.
Just because of the whole escape scene.
Yep.
Especially because, like, the unrated version, it's almost unnecessary. Like, I get it, it's Rob Zombie, but it's just like...
Yeah, it was unnecessary. I mean, it was unnecessary. It's one of the reasons why I won't watch that cut. Like, I remember... Because that movie came out when I was in middle school, and I remember being in the theater, and, like, that scene wasn't in... It wasn't in the theaters. And then I buy it on DVD, and, like, at that point... Yeah, like, at that point, my parents knew I was already watching horror movies, so whatever. But, like, then that scene happens, and I'm like... Like, I knew from being a little 7th grade boy that this is very uncomfortable, and why was this even necessary?
Yeah, it's pretty bad that, as a 7th grader, you're like, this don't seem right.
This doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem right, brother.
It does not. It's just kind of weird, because I remember, I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, huh, that's different. That wasn't in the theatrical version.
Yeah, and it just happens. It just happens. Yeah, it's like, what's going on? Oh, this is happening. It's happening. Is it going to cut away? They're not cutting away. Oh, they're still not cutting away. Then it happens.
Yeah, it's yeah. Yep. That's yeah. That's just...
So okay. Well, again, those movies alone, I can do a whole episode on.
Yeah, we probably will at some point.
Yeah, we will.
I'm sure we'll probably do like a ranking at some point.
Well, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 has its 15th anniversary this August, so.
Oh wow, yeah, that is coming up.
Yeah, 15 years.
That was 2009, right?
Yep.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yep.
I remember when that was in theaters.
Yep, I do too. I still have my ticket stub for it.
I didn't. The first Halloween movie I got to see in theaters was Halloween 2018. So that's why that's why that movie, to me, like, a lot of people don't like the new trilogy, but like Halloween 2018, it just kind of holds a special place. One, it was the first Halloween I got to see in theater. And two, it came out like a week after my daughter was born. So it's like,
sure,
and it was a pretty big deal for me.
Sure, I mean,
then Halloween Kills came out, and I had my son was born the same year Halloween Kills came out. So it's just like, I have a kid every year, and every year Halloween comes out.
Yeah, I will say Kills is my favorite one.
Kills is so good. Like, the only thing I have a problem with Kills is the dialogue.
Say it. Yep, that's my only problem. I want to take all 3 movies somehow, and I want to challenge myself one day. I want to take all 3 movies, and I want to make one big, non-cringy cut. A super fan cut, and combine all 3 movies. And I want to take out the whole...
Evil Dies the Night,
hospital. I want to just cut all that out.
If they could have... Well, I mean, the scene... I understand where they were going with it, but it was overhaul. Like, let's just everybody chant this for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, Anthony Michael Hall he was just he was obnoxious as Tommy. I was
I've heard a lot of people say that.
Like, let's talk about the concept in general of the Halloween trilogy, the new one. The whole idea of being haunted by something for 40 years. It just
Shane,
doesn't
is
make.
going to be a rabbit hole, man. We
Dude, it
can,
is a rabbit hole.
dude,
Trust me, I know it.
dude. I can tear this whole trilogy apart.
Yeah, me too. But I also can also put it back together and say how much
Yeah,
I love.
yeah, same here. I think Halloween Kills was it was the funnest. I like,
Dude, the kills were just insane.
yeah, it was. A
It
lot of people
killed.
go, yeah,
Literally, the movie says Halloween kills. It surely did.
yeah. I like,
I'm actually looking at my kills mask right now. It's staring at me.
yeah, mine's right up here. I took that to get signed by James, but I never made it to his line. He went up $20, brother. Everybody's
Really?
going up $20.
Was he 60 now
He's 60 now.
for just an auto? And then I'm sure it's like what 80 for a combo.
No, I think a selfie was included.
Oh, maybe. Oh, see,
Yeah.
that's what's nice about Sean's clients. A lot of
And
those
I
are
was just about to say, yeah.
because
Convention
you'll
All
have
Stars.
Convention All Stars is where it's
Yeah.
at. Like, I like. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we're not going to just just single them out. There's all sorts of other different agencies that have clients that they just do things differently. I mean, they're businessmen. That's just how it works.
Sure. And there's just a lot of miscommunication now with cons in general posting prices, but then they're not specifying, and I know it's not on the cons, but they should specify to the agents if the agents are doing this. Like, they just find out, oh, well, let's just charge $20 more for Funko Pops once people gets here.
That's the thing that bugs me. It's like, let's upcharge for a premium item.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's money.
Yeah,
But it's annoying. I mean, it's like, us fans, like, the bad thing is people pay for it. And that's why they do it.
well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, getting so and so's autograph isn't a life necessity. It's just a want, really. It's just a hobby. Like, just going to cons and shit. It's everything's a hobby.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. And that's where, like, I don't really buy a whole lot of stuff outside of, convention time.
I don't anymore.
Like, usually, like, when it comes to, like, I spend most of my money throughout the year at conventions. Because that's the one thing I save my money for.
Yeah.
Everything else, like, I'll just use my credit card and whatever. Like, I don't have to save for it. I can pay for it. Now, with conventions, you have to save your money, and
Yeah.
I
See,
end up.
I don't even buy too much anymore at conventions. Really, like, I can go with $200 and be fine.
Yeah, that's me. Like, I could, but I also I like having that comfort money.
Sure. Well, see, and that's the thing. I also have comfort money, but I just never touch it because, like when I see figures there, I just go, I want to pay $50 for this. I can go around the corner to my Target and pay $30 for it.
Right. I mean, because sometimes you'll have those vendors that sell at what those prices would be, and then you got the ones that upcharge it because it's a convention.
Vendors like me.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah,
that's right.
If y'all didn't know, Billy here is a vendor. He Toys from the Crypt is a vendor.
Yeah, I got a funny story later on in the show. I got a funny vending story for Squared Circle Expo. I came out on top, actually. It was like my first trade-in, my first booth trade-in at a show. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Actually, I don't think you even. Well, you told me that you made it out pretty good on that show, but you didn't really tell me how it actually went.
I mean, yeah, it was a decent show. I sold about 30% of my profits were only wrestling related merchandise at a wrestling convention. Everything else, like my Funko Pops, Pokemon cards, just random figures, people were just buying it. They were just buying my anime pops. They were buying my Forrest Gump pops. They were buying
That's random.
Spider-Man pops and
Well,
Deadpool
I mean, you
pops.
gotta think like, wrestling fans or people who go into those types of conventions are fans. They're a fan.
Yeah.
They're universal fans of a lot of different shit.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I myself, obviously we are both wrestling fans, but we love a lot of other crap. I'm sure we'll at some point get to it, but like, comic books, obviously action figures, like our whole object is just to cover the wide range of everything. And I think that just, I think it makes for, it just makes more for, because we're not just singling one topic out. And that just, to me, that just gets monotonous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, everything's a hobby. Going to conventions is a hobby. Collecting action figures is a hobby. Collecting just masks, like masks, the whole mask niche, it's a whole rabbit hole.
Oh yeah. Luckily, I haven't really.
Physical media, Funko Pops, comic books, magazines, vinyl. It never ends.
I literally collect all those.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It never ends.
It doesn't. Yeah, like granted, like my movie, buying is a little less than it used to be, but I mean, yeah, I still, get the newest release that I, enjoyed the most in theater, or a movie that I heard about that I want to see. So hopefully my Walmart gets it. But
have you seen the trailer for Joker 2?
I think I did watch that. I didn't like. I watched it without sound though.
Like, odd.
That makes obviously that's silly because it's supposed to be like it's weird that it's supposed to be like a musical.
Okay, so I am the DC. Are you Team DC as well?
I'm both.
Okay,
I'm on both ends of the spectrum. I'm more in tune with Marvel stuff, but I also am pretty big with Batman too. So obviously you know way more than I do.
I am more on the DC spectrum as far as teams than Marvel, but again, if you collect comic books, there's no avoiding sides.
Yeah.
Like you even have Image over here and Spawn. He's over here chilling.
Just get ready to say like I like DC, I like Marvel, I like Spawn.
Yeah, and I like the Ninja Turtles IDW over in the corner.
Right, I've got plenty of that. That'll be a topic on its own.
Joker 2. So
Folia do. So
what people need to take away from the trailer is one of the things I'm not going to lie, I was kind of disappointing in they're making it some kind of musical aspect. However, if you watch the trailer, in some weird mental institution-y type way, like I don't know if you ever seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's one of my favorite Jack Nicholson movies ever.
I've seen bits and pieces, I know. I've seen some of it.
Well, a lot of the mentally ill connect with music.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking that some of the takeaways in this trailer is sure it's a musical. It's not just a breakout musical, but maybe some of these musical acts are in Joker, Arthur, and Harley's head. Like real musical ain't happening. They're just zombies on the outside, but like on the inside, like this is what we're seeing.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, because that's
like
good
Joker
point.
2 is a musical. However, I hope it's not a traditional musical in the sense of like The Sound of Music or Mary Poppins or Cats or some shit. I don't
think it will be. I don't think it will be because like you said, the whole idea of it makes a lot of sense now that you say that with the whole like mental thing.
Yeah.
Like they're not seeing like everybody else is not seeing the whole musical thing because wasn't there like a show that had that happen where they did the whole episode where it was a musical that only they like saw the musical portion of it, but everybody else.
See, that's what I mean. Like, it is out there. It's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's out there. There's music in that movie related to scenes where like there's like a fight breakout or like there's something going on, but then like you put on that music and it just trances everybody. They're just, oh yeah, it calms them down. You know what I mean? They get in this weird vibe and oh man. And then like you break that music, it's like,
Back to it.
yeah, back to it. So, another takeaway is comic book fans can be really toxic.
Oh yeah. Like with anything.
Well, specifically, they're already pooping on Lady Gaga for a portrayal that nobody's seen yet. And like in my head, people's complaining about Gaga and all this stuff, but like I've seen her in American Horror Story and I've seen her in other things, and she's a really good actress. She really is.
Right.
And I think for the role of her portrayal of Harley Quinn is so much different than Margot's, and the fact this is going to be some type of musical aspect, kind of like her in The Star Is Born or something.
Right.
It makes perfect sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
like I think I'd rather listen to Gaga sing than Margot sing. Yeah, I think. There's a reason she is Lady Gaga, folks.
Right. Yeah, I've been a Gaga fan since day one, so
Yeah.
she's a great show woman.
Maxine, see the trailer?
I was actually getting ready to bring that up, Maxine. I watched that. I'm intrigued. It looks like It looks like he's going the Giallo route. Like the whole.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I expected the trailer to be something totally different than what it was.
Yeah, like
I didn't expect them to lean very heavy on Richard Ramirez.
Yeah.
I hope Maxine doesn't focus on Richard Ramirez and the Night Stalker as much, because Maxine deserves her own movie. She's a character with a story. She needs to finish the story, Shane.
He needs to Cody Rhodes this thing.
Yes. I hope that they just don't throw in a name like Richard Ramirez as a name to pull people in to see this movie and just rely on that name.
I don't think. I mean, people who are. Oh, excuse me. People who are going to go see this movie obviously have seen X and Pearl. That's just all there is to it. And if people go to watch this thing and have no idea what's going on, they're like, "What the crap is this?" It's like, oh, maybe you should have went and seen the other two movies.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Like, people will go in blind to movies just because it's a movie. Like, oh, it's something new. Let's go check it out, and then not realizing what it is.
Well, yeah, there are those people. And most of those people are the teenagers sitting in the theaters that they just go out on a whim on, Friday night to go see Halloween Ends, but they don't have no clue about continuity. They're just going to see Halloween Ends because it's Michael Myers, or so they thought.
Really, Corey Cunningham the whole time.
Corey Cunningham. Man, what? Rohan everybody had a great time with him at Horrorhound. He seemed like he was having a great time.
I heard nothing but good things about him.
Yeah.
He's very friendly. I think at one point somebody even did he made like a video call to someone's daughter.
See, and they don't have to do that.
No, they don't.
I remember when me and my wife met Alice Cooper at Days of the Dead, she wanted to ask Alice if he would talk to her dad on the phone, and he did. He didn't have to. He's Alice Cooper.
Yeah, right. I think I remember you telling me about that. That's really cool.
He was talking
because I met him as well. And
what'd you get signed when you met him?
I got a copy of Prince of Darkness signed. I got
okay. Personally, if I was going to horror movies, I'd go Friday Part 6. But
here it is. Actually.
There it is.
Yeah, he was really cool.
Shane.
Like I asked him about I didn't get a picture with him, but I got a picture of him signing it, so that was cool.
Gotcha.
A lot of times they don't even let you do that. It's just not going back in there.
Get it in, Shane.
Couldn't get in the hole.
Whoa.
No, but he was really cool because I asked him about, because I'd been listening to Welcome to My Nightmare, the original album, and I asked him about working with Vincent Price, how that was, because he does that whole monologue with the Black Widow. And
Great question.
I asked him about it, and he said, "Oh man, it was unlike you. That I mean, it's just what you would imagine working with
Vincent Price." Yeah.
Yeah, and he said it was cool because they did that. I guess one of the tours they did that album, and he actually went on tour with them and did his monologue while on the tour.
Oh, I've heard that somewhere. Maybe you told me that.
I feel like I probably told you.
Maybe you did.
At that show. I thought that was really cool. Like, to think that he worked with Vincent. I mean, of course, Michael Jackson worked with Vincent Price.
Yep.
Everybody who's anybody worked with Vincent Price.
Yep.
He'd be one, like, if we're talking about people that we would love to dig back up and bring him back to meet, he's one I would want to meet.
Yeah, I mean...
Easily. He or Donald Pleasance.
I don't...
I have a Vincent Price Funko down here somewhere.
Oh, man, I don't think I can give you an answer for that. If I could resurrect a dead, like, celebrity to meet. Like, the two celebrities I want to meet are still alive. Like, I'd love to meet Clint Eastwood and I'd love to meet Jack Nicholson. And they're still alive.
For now.
But like, I've been saying that about Clint Eastwood for 20 years now.
Dude's like 100 years old, but still kicking.
Yeah.
And still making movies. Like, that guy is a machine.
Yeah.
He ain't right. He's not run out of steam yet, that's for sure.
That's probably why he's still living, because he's not stopped working.
That's how people live. Like, that's how people, increase their livelihood, is just by continuing to do stuff. Like, you slow down and quit doing things, like Jack Nicholson, for instance. I mean, he really doesn't do anything.
I seen a meme that said, I'm trying to have a Jack Nicholson summer this year. And it was Jack Nicholson on like a speedboat going 90 with like a beer in his hand.
Just not giving a shit.
No.
That's funny.
You see, speaking of Jack Nicholson and tied to Michael Keaton, you see the Beetlejuice trailer?
Did I watch the trailer? Yeah, I think I did watch the trailer. I need to. Thought it was. I'm sure it'll be. I'll be 100% honest. I am not the biggest Beetlejuice fan.
That's okay.
Like, don't get me wrong. I understand, like, the the appeal, the hype. I mean, obviously it's Tim Burton, Michael Keaton,
Winona Ryder.
But it's just one of those movies that I like. I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't. It was kind of like the Goonies for me. Like, I didn't think the Goonies was that. Everybody loves the Goonies.
Well, see, it's funny you say that, because I didn't grow up with the Goonies, nor I don't own one piece of Goonies merchandise.
No, I don't even have I don't even think. Well, I take it back. I have a copy of it on DVD.
That's not to say I don't know what the Goonies meant to pop culture in the 80s. That's not to say, like, the stars that was in that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a good movie. It's just, not up there for me. It's like...
Sure.
People think because I don't say that it's not my favorite that I don't like it. Like, for instance...
What, Shane? You're crazy. What?
Yeah, right. It's like, I don't love Pet Sematary, but that doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
Sure. Yeah, for me, Beetlejuice, it's more of a Michael Keaton thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool that he actually, because, I mean, obviously he's an older dude now, that he would come back to even do a Beetlejuice.
Well, he's one of those actors like Bill Murray that, like, Tim was attached, green flag.
Right.
Winona's coming back, green flag. It's being filmed on location, green flag. Oh, and now this young upcoming actress, Jenna Ortega, is going to have this new lead, major green flag.
Major green flag, dude. Jenna Ortega is a powerhouse of an actress.
And everything lined up because he just came back and did Batman. And so
Right.
he was already in the shadows of came back and did this character. Now what about this character?
Will he do a Birdman too? No. I never watched that movie. I need to watch.
You haven't?
No, I heard it was really good though.
It is. It's good. So was The Founder actually with Michael Keaton.
The Founder, right? That was about McDonald's.
Yeah. Okay, so Beetlejuice 2, Shane really doesn't care about. However, I will say I am outstandingly excited for Beetlejuice 2.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll watch it. I mean, it's cool that they made one.
Sure. I'm also going to watch it. However, I am very excited for this movie. I think the whole lore behind Tim Burton's movies, whether it be Edward Scissorhands or Beetlejuice, like the whole set and like everybody that Tim uses, it's like a very close circle of Tim. Tim always uses Danny. He's always going to use Michael Keaton. He's always going to use Winona Ryder, Johnny Depp. Yeah, he has these groups. He has a small circle.
It's like, it's just like Rob Zombie with all of his movies.
Sure.
I mean, just have a group of people that you know and trust and know that they're gonna, make the movie you want to make, and deliver.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think. Yeah. I mean, I get it. People think, oh, that's favoritism. They don't,
Yeah.
Like, maybe and so, but.
And I am like a fan of practical effects to the 100th degree, as far as like, close-up special effects. You know what I mean? Practical effects. Not CGI. If you need to use CGI in places where it needs to be used, sure.
Yeah, but make it look good.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's a thing. I mean, obviously, CGI, I mean, there's a plethora of
Tim
movies
looks great.
Do what?
I was going to say Michael looks great in his makeup.
I thought, for, again, age, but it looks just as good as he did back in whenever the crap it came out.
Yeah, and it's... Think Michael Keaton. He went from Mr. Mom to... did he do Beetlejuice and Batman?
It was pretty close-knit with one another.
I think Beetlejuice was 88. Batman was 89.
Yeah, I feel like he did Beetlejuice first, and then that's where he kind of like connected with Tim Burton.
Yeah, but people were saying when he was on set as Batman, like he was in the mindset of like, oh shit, like Keaton, like we see Keaton in the mindset of fucking Batman right now. So, right. I guess the reason why I'm excited for this movie is like not too often anymore are these old actors and actresses going to come back to reprise their roles. So it's cool to see Michael Keaton visually in makeup and everything as Beetlejuice again.
Right. Not
just like how he was with Batman.
Because he could have just came back to Beetlejuice 2 and then,
This could have been a whole animation ordeal. He could have said, I don't want to come back physically. I am interested in animation. And, he could have went that route.
But I don't feel like it would work. It definitely wouldn't have worked if he didn't come back. And I think that's,
Well, there's been instances like Bill Murray's a good example of like an actor that's pretty... He can be pretty grumpy, and like for Ghostbusters, like the Ghostbusters Afterlife we got should have been a version of the movie we got in 2016 with all the women attached.
Yeah,
but there was a whole bunch of things going on, but mostly Bill was like, nah. Like Bill still had a cold shoulder about it, and so they had to go a whole different route. He was like, but I'll be a part of it, but like, I'm not putting on no proton pack or anything.
Yeah.
And then this movie happened, and then like Aykroyd and Ivan and Jason Reitman like worked together, and like of course Ivan did the first Ghostbusters, so his son did Afterlife. So again, like it was just this whole weird mixture of things weirdly lining up how it did, like how it did for Beetlejuice too.
Right.
Like I often wonder if Jenna Ortega didn't have the success that she does now, would there be a Beetlejuice 2?
Yeah, probably so. Just somebody else would have played whoever her character is.
I'm just curious if like her impact had such an influence on Michael Keaton, because like Michael Keaton and both Winona did say like once they found out like Jenna was being considered as like the new lead, they was like, oh yeah, like this is a great transition. You know what I mean?
Well, because she's so well known and well liked, and she does, everything she does has done so far has been outstanding. So
yeah, plus like, and again, like Wednesday, everything lined up.
basically, yeah.
So, did you watch any more trailers?
Trailer wise, I don't think not off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything. I know there are movies coming out that I really want to see, but I haven't really seen trailers for.
Yeah, I have a whole list, really. Again, I need to see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I need to see Late Night with the Devil. I want to see Omen. I want to see
First Omen. I've actually been going back and watching the original Omen movies. Like I've watched the first one.
You just need to watch 1 and 2. That's all you need to watch.
I'm in the midst of watching 2 right now. And I know 3, I know is like okay, but then like the 4th one is just like unnecessary, apparently.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, for Omen.
That movie is like eerie for its time, that's for sure. Like I think it came out in like 76.
It's all for you, Damien.
That's dude, the photographer, the guy, like he sees all the stuff like in his pictures, and it's like that's creepy to me.
Yeah.
And then the dude gets thinking.
No, man. Apparently, this new movie is pretty. It's a pretty good like Omen.
Yeah, I mean, because it's supposed to be like a prequel to the original before Damien's born.
Yeah. I guess it's standing well.
Yeah, that's what I've been because I've been seeing. I follow people on YouTube that are reviewers, and they've been saying other good things. There's some really like jaw dropping scenes in it, apparently.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's always good to hear.
Yep. I want to see that. I think it's called Immaculate. That Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney is in it. She is another A24 actress that's like up and coming now.
I made a post about her. I'm like, what? Is Sydney Sweeney like the new Florence Pugh or something?
Okay, first off, I will say, I love Flo. Me and my wife watches everything Flo does. We love If you don't like Midsummer, you're wrong. If you don't like Midsummer, you're wrong. Midsummer's a good movie.
It's good, but it's just a little outstretched.
It is.
It's a little long, but I mean, the payoff's kind of worth it, though.
It's not as weird as. See, I watched Midsummer first, and then I watched Hereditary.
Right.
And Hereditary is just far way more weirder than Midsummer.
Oh man.
However, Midsummer just it's a horror movie in the daylight.
Yeah.
And it's trippy.
And it's quite the trip. I mean, the stinking where they toss the person off the friggin' cliff and then like they live.
Oh, dude. Practical effects made me look away when I seen that.
That was gnarly. It's like the
That
scene.
was
It's like
gnarly.
it's like in Halloween Kills where the dude jumps off jumps out of the window and lands on the ground. You don't see it, but you see the aftermath.
Sure. Well,
And it's like, ouch.
even the Dr. Zartane head stomping stuff
Yeah,
from Halloween 2018.
yeah, yeah. That was a trend there for a while, like just head stompings.
Yeah. I want to tell people to go to Gutter Garbs and get those Halloween 2 shirts.
Oh, Gutter Garbs. Yeah, the Gutter Garbs is they currently have a Friday Part 4
Yep.
40th anniversary collection up for sale up until I think Sunday.
Yeah. I think Halloween 2's ends on Sunday as well. I ordered both of the same print on a t-shirt and on a zip-up.
What's nice about some of their shirts, though, like some of them are like pre-order only, but then like they'll do a pre-order window and then release them to everybody else.
Yeah, Fright Rags does the same thing.
Yeah, Fright Rags is they got some pretty good stuff out right now. I was
while we're talking about Rob Zombie real quick and merchandise, I feel like we keep circling back to Rob Zombie.
Oh, that's going to be the cusp of this whole.
I remember messaging Fright Rags a couple years ago and seeing if they were going to get a Rob Zombie Halloween license again, and they said no, nothing is on the horizons. Great, whatever. Then I noticed the deal with Trick or Treat Studios that came out, where they got Wayne Toth's molds and they got all this Halloween Rob Zombie Halloween 1 and 2 merch coming out from Tots. And then that made me think, okay, like, did like some kind of merch deal get worked out? Because Fright Rags told me last that there was no merchandising going on, and now I'm wondering, like, I wonder if Fright Rags, after Gutter Garbs or whoever else, is probably in this exclusive window for Halloween 2 merch.
I'd imagine.
Like I wonder if Fright Rags is going to pick that back up, because back in the day they had a Rob Zombie Halloween 1 and 2 collection. I wasn't getting Fright Rags merch back then, and those graphic prints are really cool looking too.
Yeah, I remember. I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, I guess my whole point was I'm seeing all this new like Rob Zombie Halloween merch stuff just coming out of the water, just out of nowhere. Yeah, and it's weird because like even when the movies was out, we didn't have much merch.
No, not really. I remember when Halloween 2 came out, I bought a Halloween 2. It was a shirt from Hot Topic, actually.
Yeah.
And it was they had the cover on it where,
Yep, me too.
Family is forever.
Actually, no, I didn't have that one. There was a boy that went to my school that had that shirt. I had the half mask shirt that said H2 on the sign.
Nice. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I had that shirt, and I still have my Rob Zombie 2007 Myers close-up shirt that I got from Hot Topic when I was in 7th grade. I still have that.
We're getting all nostalgic up in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Halloween 2 shirt I had was a small, and I used to fit.
Want to remind people about Record Store Day coming up.
Yeah, let's do another one of those transitions. Every time we transition, I'm going to do that. And here, time for another transition.
Transition. I need to figure out some kind of
Saturday
sample. I told you I'm going after a Little Peep 45. It's going to be the first time Star Shopping has been printed on vinyl as a single, and that came out, I think he put that out in 2014, and that's never been printed before. So that's cool. And Eric Carr, former Kiss drummer, he's coming out with another vinyl collection for Record Store Day that I want to try to get that. I missed the first 2 runs of Record Store Day stuff that he came out with. But then
Right.
there's that. Are
Didn't
you
he have them
picking
like
anything up?
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about going, but I don't know if I'll really. It
You go to
depends on.
Karma, right?
Yeah, Karma up in Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Great
only
store.
one that. Yeah, it's definitely it's up there for me. Um, it's such a cool store too because it just looks like it's. I mean, obviously, it's like
Nostalgic. Nothing's
yeah,
modern. Everything looks like as if you would have walked in 1995 to get a CD. That's what it would
right.
have looked like.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure that store hasn't changed a bit since they. I mean, because I think that store's been in business since the '70s.
I miss stores like that, man. I miss Suncoast. I miss walking into Sam Goody.
Yeah,
It makes me want to cry knowing that like my mall's pretty much dead here in town. And as a kid, spent a lot of time at that mall with our friends and a lot of cool stores. And now everything's just
gone. Yeah, it's like
gone.
that's how I was when Media Play went out of business.
Media Play. It's probably
It's kind of like it's kind of like Suncoast in a way, but
Yeah.
it's a lot bigger. Like because Suncoast
probably
is,
like a disc replay.
not necessarily disc replay. It was kind of like a better Best Buy.
A better Best Buy. Okay.
So like Media Play, they had CDs, they had movies, they had books, they had musical instruments, video games, everything. Like they had CDs you couldn't get at Best Buy. They had CDs that you couldn't get,
Yeah, that was pretty much Suncoast and Sam Goody. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like almost like they would have like import stuff. I bought a bunch of CDs at that place, and I remember asking for Christmas. I asked for a gift card for Media Play, and I was told, well, we would have gotten you that, but Media Play's going out of business. And I'm like, what? And like that was like so. For instance, like this was in Florence, Kentucky, which is about half 20, 30 minutes.
I know where it is.
Yeah, and it was right next to a Kohl's. So my mom, every once in a while we'd go shopping. She'd want to go look at clothes, and she'd go to Kohl's. I'm like, well, I'll be at Media Play. And I mean, I could spend hours in that place just looking at their selections. It was second to none. And of course, I think they were owned by Best Buy, so that didn't help.
Yeah.
Now Best Buy's in the shitter. So
yeah, it's sad, man. It's
Best Buy. I mean, after that happened, I mean that was the place to go.
I can't sit here and say I don't understand digital media. I understand people that option for digital media, either just because they don't have space for anything or it's just simpler. However, like in the overall aspects of things, like even though you bought it, you didn't buy it.
You don't own a copy of it.
You don't, and also like on Apple Music, for instance, like you can purchase a movie or purchase a CD, but then when they just want to remove that content, you lose it.
It's gone. Yeah,
it's not accessible anymore.
It's like one of those things. Like it's a convenience thing. I understand that. Like, well, for instance, like I don't buy CDs anymore hardly. I used to buy CDs all the time.
I'll buy certain special editions of like maybe my favorite bands or limited stuff.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite bands, like Ice Nine Kills, Blink-182, Rob
Well,
Zombie.
dude, and like a lot of people are buying vinyl now, and a lot of times when you buy vinyl, you get a digital code.
Right. Yeah.
So again, everything's digital in one way. Like there is more vinyl being pressed than CDs right now.
That is true. Vinyl is
which is weird.
I mean, even cassettes have made a comeback.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah, but it's cool though because I mean, vinyls have come a long way. You get all those the variant style, vinyls that look really cool.
Everything has a splatter. Everything has a variant cover. Everything.
There's always like 6 different copies of it.
There's 500 of this splatter. There's 500 of this splatter. There's 500 of this splatter.
Right. All different colors, and yeah, I always try to go after one that I really uh and a lot of times like I'll get the CD and the vinyl. Like depending on how much I like the album or the band. Like for instance, Sleep Token, when Take Me Back to Eden came out, I bought both CD and vinyl for that.
Okay. Yeah,
Or
I mean that's like with me. I don't buy too many physical CDs anymore for bands. Really, like if Black Label Society do something, I'll buy their vinyl just because I do have a whole vinyl discography of theirs, and I'll probably
right.
buy a CD. Because usually what happens is they'll drop a vinyl and CD combo, and
Right.
like the CD usually comes signed for an extra $10 more.
Which ain't bad.
No. But
yeah, just like when it comes to vinyls, like it has to be one of my like favorite bands. Like I'm very picky and choosy because vinyls take up a lot of space.
they do take up. You can see my vinyl sitting on the floor right there.
Yeah, mine are in a. I gotta actually have like a record cabinet almost.
I probably buy more soundtracks on vinyl than actual like musician albums.
Yeah,
Just because like every horror movie now is getting a regular 4K release. They're getting a steelbook 4K release. They're getting a vinyl soundtrack.
Yeah,
they're all getting all these re-releases.
and I mean they're all fantastic. Like
dude, you can buy a vinyl soundtrack for a basket case.
Yeah, 2, 1 and 2 probably, the whole franchise, and that's remarkable.
Let me get something over here. Something came in the mail today.
Oh.
Fragile, do not bend.
Something special.
Yeah, my new issue of Fangoria came today.
Nice.
Subscriber variant. Y'all wants to see?
All those Fango fans out there. Cool.
There it is.
That looks like something you'd see in like the 80s.
There is. Oh, and speaking of movies that I really want to see, nothing is intriguing me more than the movie on the back of this magazine.
And that is
Long Legs.
Okay.
Have you seen any trailers for this?
I have not. I've heard of it, but I've not.
You need after we end this, you need to watch all the trailers. There's multiple teaser trailers.
Okay.
That make up one big trailer.
Does it have to do with a spider?
I don't know. It's a Nicolas Cage movie. He's in it. However, I don't think he's the star. He's just a supporting actor.
Right. I think I saw that on there.
Brother, I couldn't tell you what this movie is about. That's why I'm so intrigued about it.
That makes for an interesting movie because it's just like, what crap am I watching?
Yeah. That's like the kind of movies I love to watch now. I am always excited when A24 is like new trailer.
And you're just like, what could this possibly be?
Yeah, and it's just something fresh.
That's definitely one of the big production, producers putting out, stuff that's a little more out of left field than what you're normally seeing.
Well, in A24, they let the directors make their movie.
Yeah.
They're not like WB or like Disney, and they go, okay, we understand this is your movie, but here's what we're going to do.
Movie.
Yeah, it's also our movie. Remember, you signed the contract. It's our movie.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm a big supporter of A24. Actually, transition. Um,
Here we go.
I told you I finally watched Iron Claw, as you did as well.
Yes.
I was going to say I signed up for the Triple A24 membership club. I
Yeah.
get a magazine every month, and last month I don't know where it is,
It was
but
Iron Claw.
yeah, it's hanging up actually. I got the Iron Claw issue, but then I got this month's issue, and it's like a whole nostalgia wave, it's like a whole write up of like retro theaters and like what they looked like inside. And
Did you see they had the Kevin Von Erich action figure?
yeah, I want to order one. Actually, that's really cool.
That's
Imagine like Zac Efron doing a wrestling signing and having
right.
that fucking figure.
That would be pretty rad.
No, but go ahead.
It was so good. That movie. It was super like, once the bad stuff started happening, I mean, it was like pop, pop, pop. Like it's just like it did not back off.
It is so funny because I'm a big wrestling fan, so I already knew the story of the Von Erichs.
I had to look up on them because I myself am familiar with them.
You need to watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode about them. That's going to give you a very well mental image about the whole Von Erich case in a whole.
Yeah, it's on my Tubi.
Fritz Von Erich, the father, I noticed was a little bit too laid back in this movie.
Really?
And like he was, as you could see in this movie, he was really hard on he had a ranking system for the boys.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like he was like, right now, Kevin's my favorite, then it's Carrie, and then it's Michael, and then it's like, but that can change any second. You boys can make that change any second.
That's so messed up.
It's a lot of pressure, and we've seen that pressure go over on the boys because Fritz was chasing a belt that he never got, and he wanted to live through his boys.
Yeah, and
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that really made me mad because it's like even like with the whole Carrie thing, where he was calling,
supposed to take care of him.
Yeah,
he didn't take care of him.
And like the whole thing with the dad saying like, well, that's between you two, blah blah blah, and then like kills himself, and then like here comes the dad like, oh my boy, and like I honestly kind of wished Kevin would have killed him.
I feel really bad for Michael. You could tell Michael. Yeah. They always said Michael was the odd one out.
Well, he really was.
Yeah.
He didn't belong in the ring.
He didn't belong in the ring. He was a great musician, and Kevin knew he could have had some type of musical career.
Yeah.
But again, that growing up in a wrestling family and having an old school dad like Fritz Von Erich, like that's not an option.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was what really sucked about that whole situation was like he wasn't doing that bad.
It's just a fluke. Everything was just bad luck.
Yeah, that's just what it. I mean, that was the Von Erich curse, apparently.
Yep.
And there was another son that wasn't mentioned in the movie, and I looked up on that because I'm like, wasn't there like because there's originally altogether there were 6 kids.
Yeah.
And the first one was actually died at the age of 6.
Yeah, his name was Jack or Jake. Yeah.
Jack Jr.
Yeah.
Because that was, I think, one of the saddest parts of the film was when...
my wife was crying.
When Carrie, David, and Michael, Carrie goes, where's Jack Jr.? And it's this little boy.
There he is.
And it's just like, God. And then the scene after with Zac Efron, like looking at his boys crying.
I don't have any brothers. Well, we'll be your brother, Dad.
And I'm just like, I'm sitting there in the lunch break room, like, son of a bitch.
I used to be a brother too. We'll be your brother, Dad.
Nah, that was like it's just like, oh, come
Yeah.
on, man.
Um.
This is such a good movie. Like, it's very obviously bleak at times because of the subject matter, but it was very well executed.
What do you think of WrestleMania?
Exciting.
Did you watch both nights or only
I
a couple
watched I
things or?
watched bits and pieces of the things that I wanted to watch. Like, I watched the Rhea Ripley Becky Lynch fight. I watched obviously The Rock in the tag team match.
Yeah.
I need to go back because I didn't. I obviously know who won, but I didn't. I saw highlights, but I want to go back and actually watch some of the matches. Like, I watched like the LA Knight and AJ Styles fight. Who I've actually started like at first I didn't like LA Knight at all.
Yes.
But I've kind of grown to like him a little bit because he's like a new age Stone Cold in a way, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
But obviously, I was aiming towards I'm a Cody Rhodes fan, so I was really like
Cody
rooting.
Crybaby.
Yeah, whatever, fuck off. I
Mama
like,
Rhodes.
dude. I like him because he just seems he looks like how he wrestles. He just looks like a wrestler. Like,
Because he is a wrestler.
yeah.
I
You know what I mean? You know what I mean by that? Like, obviously they're all wrestlers, but like just how he looks with what he
people.
does.
There's a lot of people that don't understand the type where Cody was on the card when he was first in the WWE. He was a below mid card guy, then
Yeah,
eventually mid card guy, and then he was doing the Stardust stuff, and nothing was clicking, and his contract got let go. He left, and like when most people's WWE contracts expire, keep in mind at this time this is post to AEW.
yeah,
So they do not exist yet. There's no other wrestling company besides New Japan or a TNA or something like that.
yeah. He went and did like independent stuff for a while there.
He went to the indies and he worked with all these guys and made all these friends on the indies. And then going back to like mixtures, everything was just this combination of things lining up. And
Right.
he met Kenny Omega, he met the Young Bucks, Tony Khan came in the picture, and then here we have this brand new wrestling company that appears out of nowhere. That really Cody Rhodes is responsible for. Cody Rhodes and the Bucks are responsible for AEW happening.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, Tony Khan's a wrestling fan, so like we will see. It's like what CM Punk said. AEW will exist as long as Tony Khan's father allows it to exist.
Yeah. Tony Khan's no Triple H, so
He is not. We'll see, and that's the difference because Tony's a fan with a lot of money,
that's all he is.
and Triple H is an old school, one of the boys type of guys.
Right.
It goes back to this new Punk interview, dude. Like, Punk was like, Tony is not a boss. He's a great guy, but he's not a boss, and he doesn't see the big picture of what this business is about. On the flip side, it's why Punk had removed himself from AEW and other reasons. Go watch the interview. That's a whole rabbit hole. The CM Punk AEW situation is a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, I believe it.
But like Triple H, like he's one of the boys. He gets it. He knows what. He knows tickets needs to be sold and butts needs to be put in seats.
Right.
If you're going to survive as a professional wrestling company, you have to have that mentality now. But like giving the position to Tony Khan, you don't really have to think that way because if your dad's a billionaire and he can just be paid for,
Right.
then It's going to exist. So,
yeah.
I will say, go ahead.
I'm not big on AEW, honestly. Like, they're. I mean, I know a lot of people are.
I
They
am.
prefer they prefer AEW almost to WWE, but to me, it's just like.
I'm a wrestling fan overall. I never really stopped watching wrestling. I'd say I discovered wrestling, of course, around 98, 99 era, but I didn't start watching continuously until about 2003, I'd say. But it was exciting when AEW came along because you have another company. More wrestling's great. More wrestling exposure is great. Now there's another company that guys that leave WWE, they can go to AEW and still make a living and live and be a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So it was hard watching at first because a lot of those guys were indie guys. So it was hard getting used to all these new wrestlers. You got to get used to their entrance music. You got to get used to their movesets. You got to get used to their catchphrases. Watching WWE your whole life, you know what Stone Cold Said So is. You know what WAP means. You know what Rest in Peace is. You know what what all these WWE synonyms are.
Right.
And to a lot of people,
NWO.
to a lot of people, it's just easier to watch. But I mean, back to Triple H, like this whole new era of the WWE. Like, this was the first WrestleMania that didn't have Vince McMahon included in it.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 40. He said that this is the biggest WrestleMania they ever had. I don't agree with the whole 100 and so thousand people because a lot of those people are repeat people from the night before. So, like that, I don't even take that gate into consideration. But, like, he said that around 3 p.m., like that Friday, or that Saturday, like they already blew past sales previously. And this was night 1, 3 p.m. Saturday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He knows where the wrestlers need to be. He is a wrestler.
Right.
That
really helps with, like, the creativity of it.
Yeah.
Coming from somebody who's been there.
Yeah, and coming from somebody that already had a lot to prove with NXT when Vince was pretty much like, you just go over there and play on your little NXT show. While he was over there playing on his little NXT show, he was making stars like Seth Rollins and Charlotte Flair and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. All of those guys was like Triple H products.
Yeah.
And all those guys I just named off now are like main roster guys or big money guys. So like
also Dusty Rhodes guys too.
Yeah. Yeah, they are because Dusty was in NXT and those were his children.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how because I watched the Cody Rhodes documentary the other day. And he's talking about how, like,
I was going to say I watched that Bray Wyatt one.
Dude, so good. I teared up.
Yeah. I was really excited to see all that Jason Baker / Tom Savini stuff. That's what I was interested in. A lot of people don't know that. Like, a lot of people, like, they didn't touch on Jason much, but Jason is a student of Tom Savini.
Yeah, Jason really did most of that.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Savini probably had a hand in it, but it was mostly Jason.
Yeah, it's mostly all Jason. He went to Savini school.
He's his protege, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of cool. You find out that he, when Bray Wyatt came back at, I don't remember when he came back. What it was it Survivor Series that he came back?
Yeah, I think so. Dude, I watched so much wrestling. It's so hard to pinpoint all the time.
Well, it was that show that he made. He came back and it showed all the puppets in the crowd, and then like the Fiend was down here. That was Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. They wanted to have some fill-in do it, and Bray was like, "I don't want some fill-in. You do it. Like I'm telling you to do it. Like you're my size and everything." So like he was pretty much like sanctioned by Bray to like put on the Fiend outfit and everything, which is cool.
R.I.P. Bray Wyatt. I've got two actually. I got one in the box and one out.
I have my one out. I have the Walmart
the Christmas one.
Yeah, I have that.
I was livid about that because I was gonna get it, but I'm also like, they put it out after they released him. So when I saw that, I'm like,
"Yep, my Walmart did too because I thought I missed him."
Yeah, they like it's like almost like it was a post release after he had already been released.
Yep.
I'm not buying this fucking Funko.
So overall, you're happy with Cody finishing his story?
Oh, I am. I thought it was great. Like, because don't get me wrong. Like, I get it. Roman Reigns is a face. He's like, he's basically held the company on his shoulders for years. But it's just like it was time for him to. It was past due. It was past due. And if it was going to go to anybody, it needed to go to Cody.
Yeah. Well, again, it was supposed to last year. But for the sake, dude, like it's again everything lining up. It's like with the whole Vince McMahon stuff that happened. It's like this is a great time for Triple H to take over first WrestleMania without Vince, Paul Levesque era. We have a new champion now, and again, that's not taking away from Roman. He held that title. Whether if not he was there every week doing a match, with all that stuff going on with like all that legal stuff going on with Vince, there's probably a lot of pressure on him.
My biggest problem with Roman was he was initially a part-timer.
Yeah,
that bugged me about him because it's like he doesn't show up half the time. But I get that was his character. Like his character is supposed to be like this. I
also thought about that because somebody to likes of Brock Lesnar is also a part timer. I wondered that about Roman, and then I knew he got sick again with his leukemia, and I thought, I wonder how much of that could have been health stuff too.
Yeah, because I mean, you see him come out sometimes, and he would just look really skinny almost.
Yeah, I could tell he's lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good. Don't get me wrong, he looked good at WrestleMania.
I think not that like my opinion matters over somebody's wrestling career, but I think if Roman stopped wrestling right now, he would be completely okay. However, there is probably a Rock and Roman story to finish. That would be a way to go out on top.
Because I know The Rock is supposed to at some point come back.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he'll be back.
Did you watch the segment with him and holding Cody's title and everything?
Yeah, I watched it. This is awkward.
Yeah, that part was hilarious. They would not let him talk.
What?
Like it was the best part of the whole WrestleMania was when Roman speared The Rock. And Rock's reaction.
Man.
I want to see memes.
I will say one of the biggest takeaways for me that Mania was probably CM Punk's involvement. I for sure thought he was just going to be commentary. One of the guys at my WrestleMania party mentioned that it's not unlikely for Damian Priest to come out and cash in. And I thought, yeah, like that's a great point. However, I didn't think it would happen the way it did. Because when Drew won that title, like he was out there and he was like showing his wife like he was like I brought it to you, which was weird. He did like this thing.
Yeah.
He was like, I brought it to you. And then he went over to Punk and the things was just being really awkward.
Yeah, he got
And
it.
yeah. And then out of nowhere, Punk stands up, swipes Drew's leg, takes his little arm thing off, moving his damn. He's been working it. His interview on that podcast, he was working that brace the whole time. That was a working brace, brother. He takes that brace off, puts it on his left arm, probably because, his right arm's still, he don't want to use it that much,
Right.
Hits him with this, knocks Drew out, dude. Damian Priest music hits. And I was at work watching this. I'm sure I'm on the 4th floor at work. I'm sure everybody in my building heard me yell when Damian Priest came out. Pinned Drew 1, 2, 3, and the camera cuts to Punk's face with the biggest smile on his face.
Yep, that was awesome. I feel bad for Drew, but I'm also
he did win a championship at WrestleMania and was champ before. He did get his live championship win in front of WrestleMania. That's what that was. They gave him his championship win in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
But Old Judgment Day had other plans.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm so over the Judgment Day thing because it's just.
Are you over it?
I'm way over it. It's because, like, for one, the people that were involved, I liked before they were in Judgment Day, like Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest.
So I think let's touch on Rhea real quick because that's my other big Mania takeaway. I was looking forward to that match too.
I thought it was rad that Prince Wyatt played.
I think the Judgment Day helped Damian Priest. I think it helped Rhea. And I really think it helped Dominic because before Dominic was even in Judgment Day, he was babyface Dom, and we knew a heel transition was coming. But like babyface Dom, he didn't find himself yet. Like he didn't know what his gimmick, he didn't know what his character was.
Right.
And now like he joined Judgment Day, and him and the Rhea thing kind of just naturally happened.
And then like the whole now he's Dirty Dom.
Now he has.
I think if we're keeping score, I think what the Judgment Day has really helped is just mostly him.
Sure. However, now on the Rhea Ripley side of things, it's no lie that she's the biggest star in that group, even out of Finn Balor.
Oh yeah, Finn Balor's second rate anymore.
I think Rhea and Dom need a split from Judgment Day. I think when that happens, I can see Damian Priest and Finn getting into a fight because he's champ. Finn's not champ, but Finn's also Judgment Day leader. Egos.
Yeah.
And then
there's been some like, back and forth between those two.
And then I think initially Dom and Rhea need a split because Dom does need to do his own thing initially. And not that Rhea doesn't need to do her own thing, but she is doing her own thing, and she has been.
She doesn't need anybody.
Yeah, she's.
Remember when she was with Nikki Ash?
Nikki Ash, Nikki ASH, Nikki Almost Superhero. What is that?
Nikki Cross. Dude, she's not doing anything. I'm kind of bummed about Nikki Cross because they left her. Like, they abandoned the whole superhero thing, which it got annoying, but I thought it worked. Like, it was kind of cool, but it was also kind of lame.
I was going to say a Squared Circle Expo. I was at Squared Circle Expo. Kane was signing. Sting was signing. The Hardy Boys was there. My booth was right beside Jimmy Hart. It was across from Haku and Teddy Long. Anyways, I didn't get anything signed there. I was kind of there. I took things to get signed, but prices again caught me off guard. Everything went up. But a guy came over to my booth. A boy came over to my booth and I had this AEW ring for like $120 on it, which is like retail really. And he was like, would you trade that ring? I was like, yeah, I mean, because my whole company motto is Toys from the Crypt, buy, sell, trade, comics, cards, toys, you know.
Yeah.
So later on in the show, I'm standing there, and he's like, is that wrestling ring still up for trade? I'm like, what do you got? And he just hands me this. He just goes, how about this? And he brings me this. He just got it signed by
Oh,
Sting. He
no
just got
way.
it signed by Sting, and he's like, how about this?
He wants a ring
And
for that.
yeah, the figure itself is about a $40 to $50 figure, depending. The autograph was a $60 autograph, and the JSA, it's even JSA certified.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the JSA was $10, and then just add like just what it is, value on top of that. It's like I made my money back off the wrestling ring and got a signed Sting. Really, in the meantime.
That's I mean, that's a pretty good deal, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I would want a signed Sting figure.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna have to come to Squirt Circle sometime.
Yeah, I feel like one of these days I'll have to. It's because it's up in Indy, right?
The Old Days of the Dead Hotel. The Wyndham,
Oh,
Indianapolis
the wind.
West.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yep.
right. In the,
Yep.
I know where you're talking.
Yep. Adolfo runs it now. Adolfo and his partner Ed Gonzalez, I believe, is their name. Yeah, he basically left Days of the Dead not exactly for that, but he had aspirations of doing something wrestling related.
Right.
And Days of the Dead was going through a change overall, and he loved wrestling, and one of his friends liked wrestling, and so they started this new promotion. And Adolfo, obviously being involved in a convention and getting in talent and stuff, was a no-brain to get started for him. And having a past working relation with the Wyndham West helped, of course.
Right.
But so it's always cool to see Adolfo walking around now. It was my 4th year being there and 3rd year as a vendor. So
Right.
I'll be back again next year.
So you have another event coming up soon in May.
Yeah. My little local town has a little convention, a little comic convention. I actually do very well at that, because like everybody in this town, they don't do anything, so they come out to the fairgrounds and like they're all buying comic books and Funko Pops and Pokemon, and it's like kind of around tax time, and everybody's big tax checks are all spending money and crap. They're all buying
Right.
useless nonsense.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Funny you mentioned that. Like, I didn't realize this over in Columbus, which is only about a half hour from me. They have this like little Comic Con thing that they put on over at the Ivy Tech, and it's not like, I mean, it's mostly just like, some comic book vendors and stuff like that. Just a little itty bitty show, and we had stuff going on, unfortunately, but I was thinking like maybe next year I might have to check that out. Just like,
Yeah.
something local like that, something small. It's like you don't see like just little Comic Cons like that in towns like Columbus.
Shane,
But to be fair, Columbus is actually pretty big.
it is pretty big. There was something in, I think, Dayton I wanted to go to. Dayton's another city that I see events in a lot. Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus. We're like, really, for us, we're too far for Cleveland.
Cleveland's a stretch. Like, well, even for me, like,
It's
Astronomicon's this weekend, and I've yet to make it up there. But it's like, it's just hard to justify going to a convention that's 4.5 hours away.
Yeah, and you have to bypass Detroit, really, going to Astronomicon.
Yeah, because it's in like Livonia or something like that.
Yeah.
I've never been. I've been to Michigan once, and that was to go to Mackinac. and I don't think I even remotely went in the Detroit area,
Mackinac.
Mackinac Island.
Yep.
But yeah,
I still need to go there.
definitely a lot of history.
Do you have anything else you want to touch on?
Hmm.
Have we pretty much gave our life update?
I would imagine we've talked about pretty much everything that's current that we could
Yeah.
possibly bring up, other than like I said, my big thing is tomorrow. I'll be going to the drive-in, so that'll
Oh
be fun.
yeah.
We're going. I'm going to see. They're doing a Dawn of the Dead anniversary showing, because technically Dawn of the Dead released in '78, but it was a UK release initially because it was produced by Dario Argento.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but the American release was 1979. So this year is technically the 45th anniversary of it for the US release. So they're doing a triple feature of Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead at the Skyline Drive-In in Shelbyville. And I'm excited because I've been wanting to go to this drive-in for a long time now. It's funny because it's only like 20-25 minutes from my house.
Mm.
And it's just really cool. Like it's like, obviously, drive-ins are nostalgic to begin with, but it's like it's really cool because they have like this big
Side
cafe.
note. Side note. Have you seen the documentary The Last Drive-In?
Like the last drive-in, like no, like documentary wise, no. I mean,
I think it was on Amazon Prime. It's about this small drive-in who was doing events like what your drive-in's doing, like these B horror movie events or like old horror movies or whatever. It's a really great documentary. I used on the subject of drive-in, so I just wanted to plug it really
I'll have to
quick.
check that out then, because it's like, yeah, it's just cool little thing. Like, because that's how you saw most horror films back in the
Yeah,
day, was at the drive-in. You didn't see it at your local theater because they weren't showing them.
yeah. We got about 15 minutes left. You want to wrap off these Q&A questions? We've got two of them.
Oh, right. So I forget who asked them, but if they might be listening. So the first question was the whole band favorite bands and songs, something like that. So like I'd imagine like that's gonna be hard to like really narrow down. So maybe like your
Well,
favorite, like
like
maybe
top
top.
three.
Maybe we'll just do a top three, like top three favorite band.
Fine. For me, I'll even do it in order. For me, um, my number three would have to be. My number three would probably have to be probably like Black. It's more of an artist thing. Probably like Black Label Society.
Zach Wild.
Yeah. I am a really big fan of Zach. Like even his solo stuff. I really love his solo stuff. I have a lot of his solo CDs, and a lot of those CDs don't have a single skippable song on it. Number two, probably Rob Zombie.
I believe
All
it.
time, probably Rob Zombie. Uh, Tons of different reasons. Number one, it's always probably going to be Kiss.
Yeah,
Um,
I had a feeling those were
yeah,
like
yeah.
top three.
Kiss was responsible for a lot of things. Um, see now I can even change up my number three. I could actually I will change up my number three. I'll put Slipknot as number three because Slipknot was responsible. Slipknot was responsible for a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
They really were. Slipknot got me into the heavy metal scene in general.
right.
How about you, Shane?
Top three. Well, yeah, it's hard to pick just three, because I know my top band. I'll work my way down. I'll go top,
Okay.
because top is my favorite band's always been Blink-182.
Okay.
It's a little, obviously a little, because my other two bands are metal bands, but Blink-182, like
Pop
back,
punk.
yeah, I love pop punk. I love Blink-182. I've related to that, like their songs just,
Sure. Blink
fit.
182 is a band. They don't. You don't have to justify as to why. I'm not a Blink-182 fan, but I will say, deep down in my soul, if I ever played an instrument, I would probably play drums. I've always gravitated towards it. Travis
Right.
Barker, I can't take anything away from Travis Barker and the influence he had as far as like drumming. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I completely
I'm,
understand.
I'm a huge Travis Barker fan. Like
Yeah,
but yeah, Blink 182. I mean, like, growing up as a teenager and stuff, you go through some shit,
yeah,
and Blink 182 kind of made that shit a little less rough.
yeah.
And so that's why, I mean, I've just always, resonated to them. And
Sure.
even their side projects, like when Mark and Travis went and did Plus 44 and Tom had Angels and Airwaves. I mean, I still
Yeah.
went with them. So, but anyway, two, I'm going to have to go Ice Nine Kills probably.
Okay, so newer. We're getting newer.
Ish, because Ice Nine Kills has actually been out for a long time.
Sure, but to a
really
lot
start
of
getting-
people, yeah.
they're fresh on the scene from the Silver Scream albums. And,
Yeah.
But like I know them from The Burning, the Predator Becomes the Prey.
Sure. I mean that's how I was with Ghost. Like I knew Ghost before they were popular. I knew Ghost before Cerise,
Yeah, I saw Ghost on their first basically big US tour when they played with Avenged Sevenfold and Deftones.
Number 3.
Number 3, shit. That's a tough one. I didn't even say what favorite song was from Ice Nine Kills. Like, it's hard to pick a favorite song of theirs.
I can't pick a favorite. I like all the non-hits. I like things that don't get played.
I think honestly,
like for instance, my favorite Rob Zombie album is Hellbilly Deluxe 2.
2,
not 1.
That was like the first Rob Zombie album I really listened to.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest. 3, I'll probably go. I'm taking a big swing here, but honestly, probably Sleep Token.
Okay, newer.
Very newer. Like
that's fair.
I found them basically a year ago, back right before Taking Back to Eden come out.
Okay.
And I got that album, and like I still have that. Like I bought that on CD and vinyl, and it's still in my car, and I still listen to it almost on the daily.
Dude, it was in your car when we went to see.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Back in December.
Yeah.
And I've had it since like basically
Meshuggah. That's what it was.
Meshuggah and In Flames, yeah.
In Flames, yeah.
But yeah, Sleep Token, I just like their music is just so like because I don't really consider them a metal band. Yeah, they have metal,
Well, metal's always evolving, and it's almost like Sleep Token's its own genre. It's like it's weird. It's weird. I know what you mean.
Yeah, because I mean they have songs that are just straight heavy, and then they have like pop songs.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's just such a unique band. Like honorable mentions probably Ghost, Rob Zombie, and Slipknot.
Yeah,
Slipknot for sure. Because Slipknot's probably a close third, honestly. Because I mean, the self-titled album just freaking blew my mind.
Well, we only have like 8 minutes left, and we don't have enough time to go through Slipknot.
No, we don't. That's a whole episode.
Shane, I think this was a great first episode.
I'd say we covered a lot of stuff.
It's weird. I've always wanted to do this, and it's weird. It's weird doing all this. I don't know. Time just flew by. I feel like we didn't really get to go in depth of anything.
I don't know. We went. I mean, we kind of jumped around a lot, but we still covered. I think everything that we talked about prior to this.
So, where can we find you?
We can find me at Instagram. Look for the Rotten Reports. One word, the Rotten Report. I'm on, YouTube for sure. I think Facebook. I think I have Facebook. I'm not that active on there, but I'm on there.
Okay. So. Well, as far as me, I guess this is going to be my first plug. As far as me, you can find me on Instagram at Toy Crypt. You can go to my YouTube, Toys from the Crypt. My link is in there. Also, this is the Mid-Nite Spookshow podcast. We're going to try to upload every Friday morning, meaning around midnight, turning Friday morning.
Right.
That's what I'm going to try to aim for. So,
Give it
I don't
that
know.
whole midnight vibe.
Yeah. I don't know if there is anybody listening, but if there is, thanks for listening.
Absolutely.
I can't tell you when we're going to do episode 2. We'll let this stew for a few. We're busy people. You have a family. We both work third shift, you know.
Yeah, it's finding time is definitely, not, I would say a big issue, but it's definitely a big,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Probably around this time right now, our outro is going to be playing. And I want to tell you what that outro is, but I'm not going to say anything until I get it done. And you gotta watch our video or click our link, and you'll find everything in the description.
And if you've lasted this long, we definitely appreciate it because
Yeah.
it's been a long episode.
Yeah, it has. It has. Anyways, thanks guys. Don't forget Billy from Toy Crypt.
And Shane from the Rotten Report.
Shane from the Rotten Report. Until next time, wrapping up episode 1. Peace.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky. There you go.